Okay, in this video we're going to talk about how graphic filters are created and how they work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and look at the graphic filters that we have. So we're going to go over to Task, we're going to go to our Terrain Model Tools, and we're going to slide down to the very bottom and pick an icon called Graphic Filter Manager. When you open up the Graphic Filter Manager, it will list all the filters and filter groups that you have, whether it's in the active DGN, which we don't have any, or in the MoDOT DGN lib called MoDOT Graphic Filters. So if we expand our filters, we have 8 filters or graphic filters set up already, and these are designed to work with the new MoDOT ITL or template library. And so to explain this, we're going to go ahead and just look at one called Design Propose Finish Grade. And in there, what we can do is we can edit the filter. And so if we click on Edit Filter, it'll bring up the following Edit Filter dialog box. And in here, you can see that this filter is created with civil features. Now these civil features are the ones that are in the filter itself are listed in this box right here, and we've got 28 of them. Now those items refer to points in your template. Okay, now to show you this, we're going to look at, and again this is and I'm going to just cancel back out of this, this is a proposed finish grade filter. So a proposed finish grade filter will give you the points that are on the surface of your corridor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just open up a template and see if we can look at the points that make up the surface of that template. And so I'm going to go into the Edit Template drop. And here's our template drop. I'm going to go ahead and expand it. And the points on the surface of this template are, this one right here, these two down here, this one here, this one as well. Points across the top of the pavement and shoulder, and then again the top points are the points on your fill and ditch slope. Now to locate those easy, what I'm going to do is just going to go to the Active Template tab here, and I'm going to go down to an area called Point Feature Definitions. And in there, I'm just going to go ahead and click and when I click on these, you'll see that they're highlighting points in the template. Again, the points that I want for this this proposed finish grade filter are the surface points. So the very first one that I select is this one right here, Excess Asphalt Surface Centerline. So that'll be one point that I want that should be included in that filter. Another one is the next one down, is this one here, this one as well. And then the ones in the ditch, that one there, and that one as well. So those points, and I made a list of them in a Word doc from this particular template, should be in that filter, graphic filter. And so let's go ahead and check that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and close out of my template. And I'm going to go ahead and bring back my filter manager. It's right there. I'm going to go ahead and edit the filter again. I'm going to go down to my civil features, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to see if the ones that were in the template on the surface of that template are actually in the filter. And so the very first one I'm looking for is this Excess Asphalt Surface Centerline. We come in here and you can see it's right there. And then the rest of these, Excess Asphalt EOP, next one down. Then the next one is the Excess Asphalt Outside Edge of Shoulder, and that's one right there. And then Excess Ground Proposed, and so we're going to look for that one, Excess Ground Proposed, it's right there. And then lastly, this Excess LOC point, which is the limits of construction point, which is the outermost point of your either ditch or fill slope, and it's located right there. And the reason there's 28 civil features in this filter is because we had to set this up so that it works with all the templates in the MoDOT ITL. This particular template only needed 5 point feature types in order for the filter to work. But again, there's many different templates in the MoDOT template library, and so we tried to create this filter that would work with all of them. Now if you have an old template from the SS2 library, or if you have manually created your own templates, you might need to add or remove some points from this filter, and you can do that once it is copied into your DGN file. And it will be copied into your DGN file when you apply a graphic filter. You can also just create graphic filters from scratch if you need to, but that's all there really is to creating a graphic filter. You just have to find out what the feature definition, the point feature definition is, and add that point feature definition to the list. Now, the one thing that we did with this particular feature definition, I'm going to go ahead and cancel back out of this, is all those points that we're selecting are going to be break lines. We set that to as a break line. Now, we also have another proposed finished grade graphic filter, this one here, but it's a boundary for that one. And with this one, what we did is we wanted to create a boundary around this proposed finished grade because we didn't want any external triangles being created outside your actual corridor data. Now with this one, we changed the feature type from a break line to a boundary, and that's what a boundary will do, is it will restrict any triangles getting created outside of your data that you have selected in the filter group. And so if we look at this one for this boundary for this proposed finished grade, we're really only going to have one item out there, and it's called the excess LOC point, which is the limits of construction point. So it's not going to let any triangles get created outside the limits of construction of your corridor. And so what we did is we created individual filters for those two, one for the boundary and one for the proposed finished grade. And then what we did is in the filter group was we added those two together to create one called proposed finished grade with boundary. And so what we have first is we have the proposed finished grade, which is again those 28 some odd features. And then we also added in the boundary so that we would not get any external triangles outside the limits of the corridor. And so that's what you can do. Is you can add as many of these filters to one group if you want to. All we've done so far is we just have two different filter groups, and each of those is made up of just two filters themselves. But you can have lots of flexibility with this tool, but that's what we have set up as a default right now for the MoDOT settings. So if you want to see how a filter group or how a filter is applied and used, please see the video on how to use a graphic filter.